Well, ladies and gentlemen, I like interviewing great Americans with great histories and stories to tell, who put everything on the line to try and run for office in order to continue their service. And one of them is a gentleman we've gotten to know, especially my wife has gotten to know him and his wife, and that's Hung Cao. Hung Cao is challenging Senator Tim Kaine for the United States Senate in the state of Virginia. Hung Cao, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me here, Mark.
I want you to tell the country about how you came here, your parents came here, and how you served in the military and just the progress through your life.
Yes, sir. So we came here as refugees from Vietnam. My father was high-ranking Vietnamese official from South Vietnam. He was the Deputy Minister of Agriculture. So he was basically going to be marked for death or sent to a re-education camp. And so we snuck out of the country, and we made it here. And this amazing country gave us everything. I mean, I went to the top high school in the country, or it used to be top until the left destroyed it, Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. I was the very first class to graduate from there. I went to the United States Naval Academy. I earned a bachelor's in engineering. I went to Naval Postgraduate School, where I earned a master's in physics, and I had fellowships at Harvard and MIT. But you know what, Mark? I paid back that American dream, every single dime of it, with 25 years of service in Navy Special Operations. I was a Navy deep sea diver. I recovered John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife, his sister-in-law. I recovered other aircrafts that crashed in the ocean. And I defused bombs for our SEAL teams and Special Forces teams in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia.
Mm-hmm. So you're really a serious combat veteran, and I had no idea about the Kennedys and so forth. That's a big deal. Tell us about your family, your wife, your kids.
Yes, sir. I have a wife and 5 wonderful kids. My wife is an EMT in Loudoun County, and she's also the co-author of our book because, I'm an engineer and physicist. I'm not very eloquent with words the way you are, and she is. But she's also a homeschooler. She homeschooled our kids. My oldest is at the Naval Academy right now getting straight A's because of what she taught him. And so we just want to give back to the community. And honestly, when I left Afghanistan in 2021, it was stable, Mark. And then Joe Biden came in and caused it all to fall apart. And I was watching mothers hand babies to Marines. That's just like in Vietnam. And so I just couldn't sit by anymore. The enemy had already infiltrated our ranks. So I retired and ran for U.S. Congress right here in the 10th Congressional District, which includes Loudoun County, where they were attacking parents from the school board.
And you almost won. You missed by an eyelash, didn't you?
Yes, sir. We took that area where Joe Biden won by 19 points, and we took it down to 6%. That's a 13% difference. And we overperformed in President Trump and Governor Youngkin in this area. And that's why they asked us to run for U.S. Senate, because they're like, hey, you don't have to win Northern Virginia. You just need to move the needle the way you did. The South comes out, and you've already won this race.
Now, when your book does come out, I will bring you back because it's a very important book. But you're running against a man, Tim Kaine, who's quite the chameleon. On the one hand, he works very hard and coordinates and with a hard left in America and in Virginia. On the other hand, he presents himself as quite the moderate, soft-spoken moderate. He's been attorney general. He was lieutenant governor. He was governor. Now he's senator. So he's got that pedigree. And as purple as Virginia has come, you feel you have a real shot at this, right?
Yes, sir, we do. Look, like you said, he's a chameleon. But the thing is, no one can remember what Tim Kaine did for Virginia, right? All they remember is he got stuck on I-95 during a snowstorm with a bottle of Dr. Pepper. This is the intelligence of this man, to go out in a snowstorm with just a bottle of Dr. Pepper. But
should honestly, at least be Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. Yes, sir. No, it's just ridiculous. He's right now, he won't choose between Hamas and what's right, which is to condemn the Jewish racism that's happening in this country and to condemn what Hamas did in Israel. How can you not stand for what's right? How can you not see what happened and say, this is wrong and we will not support this?
Mm-hmm. And you're very clear on your moral positions, like you just said. You support Israel against Hamas. There's really no middle ground. And you're very solid on issues about immigration. You know, your family came here, and people say, well, you're an immigrant. That doesn't mean you support millions of people coming here illegally from communist China and other places of the world, correct?
No, sir. Look, my father waited 7 years. The whole family did. The last thing he had hanging over his bed before he passed away 2 years ago was his naturalization papers. That's what was the most important thing to him. And, you know, as an immigrant to this country, I'm telling you right now, don't come to America if you're not willing to obey the American laws and embrace the American culture and assimilate. I love this country so much. I bled for it for 25 years.
Mm-hmm. Now, Tim Kaine, as I recall, he was a member of the Peace Corps, right?
Yes, sir. He did he did 2 years, I think, down in Honduras, and I think they brainwashed him down there because he's really a Sandinista by heart. Like, he really believes in all this stuff that he does, this communism, Marxism, socialism, and now equity. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just, you know, it's just packaged differently, but it's what's destroying America right now. And I want to talk about meritocracy and making America amazing again.
But he does create this false, picture of himself. He gets hope from the radical, massive influence or used to be anyway, of the Washington Post, and the idea that it's Tim Kaine, that he's so harmless and so forth. In many respects, he hangs under the radar, but he pops his head up every now and then. But he really does march in lockstep with Bernie Sanders, with Joe Biden, with the most radical elements in the Democrat Party and the most incompetent elements of the Democrat Party, no?
Oh, absolutely. Don't forget that he was Hillary Clinton's bag man. He's got a PhD from the University of Hillary Crookedness. He knows how to tap into every single dime out there. That's why he's amassed $13 million. And I'm asking your viewers, like right now, I will fight every single battle. I've got the scars to show it. Okay, but I need ammunition. And Tim Kaine has so much money right now. If you want your voice out there, I need your support. I mean, go to hungforva.com and support me so that I can fight for you. I will do it every single day, and I will not allow this country to turn into what I ran away from.
That's hungforva.com. Ryan Tully is a senior fellow at the Hudson Institute, a great guy, so I'm told, but I believe it. The Wall Street Journal was fed information from the Biden regime, the Blinken State Department, that Biden is notifying Congress that he will be releasing $1 billion in arms to Israel. Those arms may not be delivered for a long time, but they're notifying them. And Ryan Tully calls out this deceit, this fraudulent conduct by this president and his Secretary of State, and he writes, a congressional notification only initiates a process for arms sales. According to reports last week, the weapons last week that were ordered to not be delivered were already approved under a prior congressional notification. Seems like someone is playing word games. So the Wall Street Journal News Department is pushing the administration's propaganda. I guarantee you this will be regurgitated all over the news media, that what Biden and Blinken have done is nothing. A congressional notification only initiates a process for arms sales. It doesn't conclude it. And so the weapons that they're withholding now were already approved under a prior congressional notification. This is why they lie. This is why we despise them. This is why they set up Israel and they treat Israel like a punching bag. Meanwhile, Blinken's over in Ukraine playing the guitar, for God's sakes. I want to thank Ryan Tully of the Hudson Institute and David Milstein for bringing that to my attention. All right. Want to get back to our friend Hung Cao. Hung Cao, so you're going to get the message out, I guess, by outworking Tim Kaine, by trying to get some free media on radio and TV, trying to raise at least enough money to get noticed out there. Is that pretty much the game plan?
Yes, sir. That's exactly it. Here's the thing. We are smarter than them in how we spend. You know, we don't advertise during the day because our voters actually go to work. You know, so we will target certain times when people come out. We will target certain voters. We will target people the way, they've been doing to our voters. And so we will make sure we get the vote out, and we are very good with the money because we don't need to spend as much as they do. They'll raise a lot of money, but they'll waste it. Just like they do in Congress, they waste our money for things like, sending to just blank checks to Ukraine instead of Israel. And it just drives me crazy. I mean, people have no idea what Israel brings to the world. That's the size of New Jersey with the population size of the Commonwealth of Virginia. But they bring, so much, cyber and electronic and, just innovation. They punch 200 times their weight. And not only that, their advances in medicine for Parkinson's, and muscular sclerosis, and they're so close to curing cancer. That's what they bring to the world.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? The terrorists bring nothing but horrific inhumanity to the world. In this tiny little state of Israel, look what it contributes to the world. And we have an administration that is taking the side of Hamas. You can't say it any other way, since they want Hamas to survive, and they're trying to stop Israel. This tiny little country that has, consider its population, more inventions, more patents, more discoveries in medicine, more technological advances. Can you imagine how much more would get done if they would be left alone?
Exactly. And it's just like Americans. Leave us alone also. I mean, we need to innovate and get government out of the way. Stop these bureaucrats from giving these, just mandates of no incandescent light bulbs or ceiling fans or gas stoves. Like, who are you? That's why I want to limit all these regulations from the unelected officials. They have 3 years, and then it dies on the vine, or it has to go to Congress as law, because we can't hold back the American industry anymore. And this is why you need someone like me, who's a physicist, an engineer, who has patents under his names, that understands what it means to innovate.
And a man who saw combat and did things that most other men in this country, many of whom are heroes, cannot do. And that is a big deal. And I want to thank you for everything you've done for the country, Hung Cao. And I want to thank you for running. I know it's difficult. I know you're up against it with the Washington Post and the enormous amounts of money flowing into Virginia to defeat you. We'll do our little part here. Folks, you can go to hung4va.com, HUNG4va.com. And Hung Cao, we wish you all the best, and we'll bring you back.
Thank you,
sir.
Oh,
wait a minute. I want to make it clear. I'm endorsing you 100%. There you go.
You're the best, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Levin.
God bless you, my friend. Take care of yourself.